September 12, 2024. Thursday of the 23rd week in Ordinary Time. A reading from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. Brethren, knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. If anyone imagines that he knows something, he does not yet know as he ought to know. But if anyone loves God, he is known by God. Therefore, as to the eating of food offered to idols, we know that an idol has no real existence, and that there is no God but one. For although there may be so-called gods in heaven or on earth, as indeed there are many gods and many lords, yet for us there is one God, the Father, from whom are all things and for whom we exist, and one Lord, Jesus Christ, through whom are all things and through whom we exist. However, not all possess this knowledge. But some, through former association with idols, eat food as really offered to an idol, and their conscience, being weak, is defiled. And so by your knowledge this weak person is destroyed, the brother for whom Christ died. Thus, sinning against your brothers and wounding their conscience when it is weak, you sin against Christ. Therefore, if food makes my brother stumble, I will never eat meat, lest I make my brother stumble. The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm Response. Lead me, Lord, in the way everlasting. O Lord, you search me and you know me. You yourself know my resting and my rising. You discern my thoughts from afar. You mark when I walk or lie down. You know all my ways through and through. Lead me, Lord, in the way everlasting. For it was you who formed my inmost being. Knit me together in my mother's womb. I thank you who wonderfully made me. How wonderful are your works! Lead me, Lord, in the way everlasting. O search me, God, and know my heart. O test me, and know my thoughts. See that my path is not wicked. And lead me in the way everlasting. Lead me, Lord, in the way everlasting. Alleluia, Alleluia. If we love one another, God abides in us and his love is perfected in us. Alleluia. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who abuse you. To one who strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also, and from one who takes away your cloak do not withhold your tunic either. Give to everyone who begs from you, and from one who takes away your goods do not demand them back. And as you wish that others would do to you, do so to them. If you love those who love you, what benefit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what benefit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. And if you lend to those from whom you expect to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners, to get back the same amount. But love your enemies, and do good, and lend, expecting nothing in return, and your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High, for he is kind to the ungrateful and the evil. Be merciful, even as your Father is merciful. Judge not, and you will not be judged, condemn not, and you will not be condemned, forgive, and you will be forgiven, give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For with the measure you use it will be measured back to you. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflection. Thursday, 23rd week in Ordinary Time. We live in an information age. We have access to information today to a degree that wasn't conceivable even a generation ago. We are more knowledgeable about so many things, compared to our parents or grandparents. We place a high value on knowledge and on those who have it, people who are experts in their field. It is clear from the beginning of today's first reading that some members of the church in Corinth also placed a high value on knowledge, declaring proudly, "We all have knowledge." However, in Paul's view, this claim to know has made some of them very arrogant and somewhat indifferent to the impact of their knowledge on others in the community. They may have knowledge but they lack love, the fruit of the Spirit, which according to Paul in that reading makes the building grow or builds up the church. Paul was convinced that knowledge without love can be destructive of others or, as he puts it, could become the ruin of someone weak. In the Gospel reading, Jesus elaborates on this love which the Spirit inspires. It embraces those who have done nothing to deserve it, our enemy. It is given to those from whom no return of love can be expected. It is a love that is compassionate, that is ready to suffer with others, no matter who they are, and that refuses to condemn others, leaving judgment to God. This quality of love, which is a reflection of God's love for us, has a much higher value in God's eyes than any form of knowledge. If knowledge is to serve others well, it needs to be infused by such love. Jesus concludes by declaring that those who love in His way and who allow this love to shape all their other qualities will be opening themselves up to receiving the full measure of God's generous love.